this is the sprint. So this is gonna go fast, okay? So we did this yesterday. They told me I had 30 minutes, 10 minutes to talk, and 20 minutes for you to work. It's gonna take me 15 minutes at least. So I'm just letting you know now. Is that okay if I do 15 minutes and you work for 15 minutes? Yes. Okay, awesome. Because I was gonna do that anyway. But okay.
You left the mic.
Thank you. Let me make sure if I get the clicker working right. Okay, so things that we've heard today, things that you'll be working on and continuing. Again, this is a sprint. We're going to be talking about short-term goals. But what have we heard already today, sort of? So some things, as I was thinking about this and putting this presentation together, some of the things that I thought about in my experience in ministry. I've been in the church my entire life. I've been doing ministry for over 40 years in the church. I know that's hard to believe. I'm just prematurely gray. That's all. Don't worry about that. But some things to consider. Our parish culture. What is our culture of servant leadership, service, discipleship, whatever you name it, whatever you call it? What is our culture in our parish? How does that work? What does that look like? Our values, our mission as a parish. Do we know what that is? Do our people know what that is? What do we value as a parish? What is our parish mission? And even if we have a great mission statement, but do people just get it? What is our mission as a church and as a parish? Are we operating from a parish level or individual ministries? And what I mean by that is some of our parishes are large, some are medium-sized, some are small. Some have full staffs in place. So, you know, do we operate with this idea from the parish level? This is our vision. This is what we see as a parish. This is what we're working towards. Or are we working from a level of ministries where we have individual ministries and people leading them? And so each ministry is kind of doing their thing and what they do. And we hope it all comes together and makes sense. So what are we working from? Okay? Again, our parish staff and structure. We have a staff. Do we have departments and people who work for other people? Do they know who they report to? Do they know that you're supposed to report to this one or that one or the other? Do they know their responsibilities? What does our support staff look like? They're paid, unpaid, full-time, part-time. Do the people in the parish know who the people are that are functioning in leadership or in whatever roles in our parishes? Do they get it? Do they know? Do we know how our parish systems, our parish culture, how that works? You heard Megan, I think, mentioned, you know, doing things the same way that we've always done them and expecting different results, you know? Are we working from how things have always worked? This is what we've always done. Oh, we always do this, that, or the other. Do we think about what we can do rather than what we have done all the time? Who's who? Again, do we have our staff roles and responsibilities? And then who's next? When those people change or move or aren't available to do those things, who's next? Who do we call on? Who do we rely on? Who's working? Who's doing what? This little quote I found, Roger Federer, I don't know if he said it or not, but it sounded good to me, says you have to believe in the long-term plan you have, but you need the short-term goals to motivate and inspire you, which is what we're talking about in this session, our short-term goals. So some short-term goals we might have in our parish. Again, we're talking about relationship, getting people involved to do what, as Megan said, grow our parishes. So how do we get people involved? We have to build relationships, present opportunities for people to serve, opportunities for people to connect with one another. So some things you might do, have a list of volunteer opportunities within the parish. Family-oriented opportunities. We do special events, different things that we can do. Holiday opportunities. We talked yesterday and somebody said, you know we have increased participation at our masses for Christmas and Easter. So we have a special group of people who are welcoming people on Sunday when they come for those masses. So these might be people just for those events. Our community connection, what is happening in our community? Again, we're talking about tapping into the skills and talents and interests that people have to get them involved and connected within our church. But you gotta connect with them, you gotta talk to them, you gotta have conversations with people to find out these things. So what I mean by community connection is what's happening in our community, and I mean our municipal community, within your county. You know, all our counties have these various boards and committees and commissions. There might be somebody out there who's really interested in that kind of stuff. And we need to know what's happening in our parish communities when zoning changes and different things are going on. What's being built in our communities. And so there might be people out there who have a real interest in those kind of things. So we find that out in talking to people. Cultural activities. You know, I told them, you're in Florida. Guess what? You're in a multicultural parish. I don't know if there's any of our parishes that can escape or fool themselves into thinking, for whatever reason, that you're not a multicultural parish. You might not have different languages, but you got different cultures in your parish. How are we using that to our advantage within our parish to grow our parish? How are we connecting with people from different cultures and different places? So when we're doing things, making sure that, again, building that relationship, we're connecting to what's important. What are those special days? Who are those special saints that are important to people from other cultures and in other cultural groups? Not just language, other cultures. How are we making that a part of our parish community and culture? And then not forgetting, excuse me, the overlooked. In here I put homebound, singles, widows, young adults, youth. Who are the overlooked in our parish? How are we connecting with them? What efforts are we making? Things are we doing that we are connecting to those who have talents that we're missing out on? Because we're using the same ways and methods of communicating and sharing information, and we're missing them. And when I say homebound, I have it in quotes? The overlooked in quotes. But I mean homebound. I don't necessarily mean the sick and homebound, people who are, you know, in serious conditions. I mean people who are home that maybe don't have transportation. Particularly some of our more seasoned population, people may not drive, don't have transportation, but they still have skills and interests, and there's things that they could be doing at home and from home that we're not tapping into and utilizing. We were in the church this morning as we were getting prepared, and Deacon Rick was explaining some of the appointments in the church, and he pointed out the tapestries. He said that there's a woman in the parish who made those beautiful tapestries. What a gift. And who knows who's out there in our parishes and outside, at home, that just have the time and interest to do those things for us that we're not tapping into, not connecting to. So that's the kind of things we're talking about. Again, we're talking about inviting people, the messaging. How do we communicate what is happening in our parish? Of course, we usually have the bulletin, we got webpage, we got Flocknote, Facebook, all these other things, but how are we presenting that message? When we make announcements about things that we need, ministry opportunities, I call them, but often, you know, we get on Sunday and we make the announcement that we need catechists for third grade. And unfortunately, if we don't have any catechists, we may not have third grade this year. Is that the way messages are presented in your parish? I see heads nodding and like, yes, yes, yes. Because we make this pitiful plea for whatever. And of course, there's a rush of people that come to us to sign up for our pitiful plea. Are we presenting opportunities? Here's an opportunity for you to get involved. Here's an opportunity for you to be involved with our youth of the parish. You know, we love to say the youth are the future of the church, but I'm not going to be in there doing that with them. Here's an opportunity to present. You know, we ask for catechists. We need catechists. We need catechists. We need catechists. And there are, out of a room of 50 people, 48 are going, what did the cat do? What's she talking about? If people don't know the language, if people don't know the words, we got to make it sense to them. We have to make it make sense if we want people to respond to these things that we're asking for. So make it make sense. You know, I know a great group of people here. How many know what the RCIA is? Good, because it's changing. We just changed it. Now it's called something else. The other people don't know that. Make it make sense, okay? How do we address, define, acknowledge volunteers? You know, it's, you know, we have these great people that come and serve, but you know, they're just volunteers. They're only volunteers. Oh, we can't do anything with them. You know, they're just volunteers. How do we address that group of people that are coming and giving our time? Okay? And what would make someone respond to the requests that we make? So, I'm running this sprint, because I told you this is a sprint, so it's going fast. And then acknowledgement and appreciation. Once we get people to do things, how do we acknowledge the service that the people have given? That makes them want to come back and serve again. That make them want to give their time. You know, pastors, I get it. I know with Christmas we have so many things that have to be done. Easter, we have all these things that have to be done. And we get to the Mass, that last or final Mass, and it's like I want to just thank you to all of our volunteers that help make our Christmas Masses so wonderful. I don't dare name them because I will forget somebody. Name them somehow. You know, you have a person that coordinates the readers, a person that coordinates the extraordinary ministers if you have them, a person that takes care of coordinating the environment. Get those names from that person and post that in your bulletin. People like to see their name in print. They like to hear their name. Get those lists. Put it in your bulletin. Put it on your webpage. Put it somewhere so that people can see and say they appreciated what I did enough to put my name here. We have to remember to do that. Okay, so if you don't show appreciation to those that deserve it, they'll learn to stop doing the things you appreciate. And then we wonder, well, we can't get anybody to sign up. Yeah, because you treated them like, you can fill in the blank. You can fill in the blank. I'm not going to do it for you. So what we're going to do, and what I want you to do, in your packet, I left 2 sheets. One is, you've heard about a job description. That's the kind of buff colored sheet. You don't worry about that. You've seen that a few times. So the other one is a gray sheet, and it's called 5 Tips for Nurturing Disciples to Serve in Ministry. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to work on an activity at your table for each one of these categories, and they're listed there on your sheet. It's the gray sheet, I think, on the right-hand side. Okay. So this is the short-term goal. We want to catch the low-hanging fruit. We want to catch the people that we can get something that appeals to them, that attracts them, that we can get them connected to and involved in a short time. Doesn't take a lot of work, doesn't take a lot of effort, but gets them connected and involved in. This is the sprint. This is the short term. I'm running out of breath because I'm trying to get to the end. And that's how you'll be, trying to get to the end. So things you can do in the short term, and when I say short term, I mean anywhere from now to maybe 6 months, maybe even 12 months could be short term, depending on what it is. But things that you can do very easily to start building relationship, to get people connected so that when we get to the long term things, they're invested and they're ready and they want to participate. Okay, you with me? So describe the need clearly to find a good match. You've heard them talk about it. So you have the other sheet, again, job description. Explain what it is you're asking people to do. And the sheet you have gives some examples there. But let people know what it is you want and need people to do. And it's a short term. We need you to come out 3 nights to help package whatever, care packages for an hour at a time. This is the person you'll be working with. This is the person you'll be connecting with. Give them the information of what it is so that you have a good match. So it's not just the warm body going, okay, they all told me to come here, so I'm here. What do you want me to do now? It's like, put them to work, though, if they do show up. Give them something to do. Okay? Okay, quit. But anyway, the next one, because you have the sheet, is tap into people's interests, talents, and passions. So you've heard talk about finding those things that motivate people and giving them reasons to serve. So, but you find that out in talking with people and sharing with them. What would make you serve? What is something a reason that you would come and serve? Change the world, put their God-given gifts at the service of others. Recognition, staying busy and productive, required service hours, maybe. And I added one last night that wasn't on here that says change of leadership. Because sometimes that is a motivation to people to come serve that may not have done it before. And I don't necessarily mean your pastors, I'm not talking about you necessarily. But whatever leadership, you know, there's somebody else that's doing this, or I know Mary, so yeah, if she's doing something, I'm gonna go work with her. You know those people, because her stuff's always good, so I'm gonna work with her. So a change in leadership might even be a reason for people that they come back and run out of time. Number 3, communicate positively with your ministers and frequently, including message of gratitude to show you value and honor their achievement. Find little ways to show people that you appreciate what they do. They don't have to be big things, you know. Little things mean a lot and they go a long way. So what are ways that you can show appreciation for people and what they do? Number 4, target and personally invite people. We've heard that today, but you know, let me tell y'all something. I'm going past my 15 minutes, but let me tell you something. You don't need Father. You heard what I said, Father Tom? You don't need Father. You don't need Father to tell you to go sit at the table and talk to that couple and find out who they are. Am I right? Yes. You don't need Father to tell you, see that new family? We've seen them for a couple of weeks. They got a couple of small kids. You don't need Father to tell you to go meet those people and make sure they know that we have a children's ministry in our parish. Am I right? Right. So get off it and go do it. Okay? Number 5, form a recruitment team for your ministry. Whatever it takes, get people involved, other people involved. I work at the Lay Pastoral Ministry Institute at forming lay leaders in our what is this place? Thank you. Paying attention. But one of the things that I always tell them when they're doing their practicum is like, yes, you have to do this as part of the requirements for this program, but you're doing ministry for your parish and within your parish. This isn't just your thing. Get other people involved. We aren't doing solo. We are getting other people involved. So it's incumbent upon them to call forth the gifts of others, because there are other people who are wonderfully made for these tasks that you will find a drudge, but are a part of doing your ministry. So form those ministry teams, recruitment teams, and get people involved. Okay, I'm over time. So what you're going to do on the back of that sheet, number 1 through 5, for each one of those areas on the front, you need to just brainstorm some things that you can do in the short term in your parish to accomplish some of those goals, or at least to work on some of those objectives. So on your back, on your mark, get set, go.